This is the Carty Method Podcast.
Oh my word, I am over the moon excited about today's episode because we're getting into the masters. And if you've ever looked at a portrait and thought, this does hit way harder than mine, then you're definitely in the right place. Welcome to the Carty Method Podcast. I am Steve Carty. If you've never seen me before, most emerging photographers think better cameras or better lenses is how to make their photography look cinematic and expensive. That's wrong. It's never been about the camera. It's always, it's always been about light. Always. So some of the most incredible, greatest pictures in history were made decades before mirrorless cameras or digital was ever invented. Decades before. And I have some favorites that I'm sharing with you today. And anybody who knows me, anybody who's watched my podcast knows that there are three photographers that inspire, influence pretty much everything that I do. Youssef Karsh, Richard Avedon, and Helmut Newton. Three masters, three completely different approaches to lighting. Completely different approaches. And every modern photographer working today is borrowing from their playbook. Avedon, Karsh, Newton. Everybody's borrowing from their playbook, whether they admit it or not. For me, I admit it because I know that there were masters that touched cameras before I did. Okay, I was born in 1970. I'm 55 years old. There were people who were shooting like Cecil Beaton and like photographers that were shooting long before even the concept of digital was out there. And secret time, when they pushed the button, they didn't see the photo on the back of the camera. They didn't see it back there. Like they had to know what they were shooting before they shot it. Hey, let's go, Steve Bordeaux, with the membership. And Steve, for you, because you're a gangster and you've been here for 22 months, we got some smoke for you. And also, for the people who are watching, today we are gifting 5 YouTube memberships to people who are randomly just watching. So pay attention, hang on, watch, and maybe you'll be gifted a membership today. So in this episode, I'm going to break down 3 lighting lessons that you can steal from these 3 legends. And again, borrow these lighting techniques, okay? What Karsh teaches us about sculpting with shadows, what Avedon teaches us about pure simplicity, and what Helmut Newton teaches us about hard lighting like a weapon. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about today. And by the way, as mentioned, if you're watching, you might be gifted a membership today. We got 3 cameras today. We also have new merch. This is brand new. I just got it yesterday, which is the Carty Method merch from the cartymethodshop.com. This is the love is the only law to obey. Love is the only law to obey. This is the Carty Method Love is the Only Law to Obey t-shirt, available now at the Carty Method shop. Make sure that you select see all products in order to find this one. So excited about this merch. And again, I'm wearing a Carty cap that there's only one of one. No one else can buy this one because it's me. All right. So if you apply even one of these lessons that you learn today, like even one of them this week, your pictures will instantly look more intentional, more confident, and more professional. So let's get into it. We're going to start with Karsh, okay? Karsh, I'm going to cry here. I met Yusuf Karsh when I was in first year photography school. And there is a picture that exists that I have to get from David Batten. David Batten has photos of, literally there was 12 of us that drove to Ottawa to meet Yusuf Karsh, to have like literally a free workshop with him and then get to speak to him. Like, there's a photograph of me at age 19 in a group with Yusuf Karsh. This is how much of an influence he was for me at 19. I'm 55 years old. Okay. So Yusuf Karsh, the one thing that I remember him saying is that he loved Hollywood, and he's Armenian. Came to Canada, was incredibly small in stature, like maybe 5'1", 5'2", if that. But he had a command of a room that was as if he was 10 feet tall. And if you've studied portraiture at all, you'll find Karsh's influence even if you don't realize it. Karsh is the photographer who made heads of state look mythic, like heads of state, presidents. Like Karsh, if you're Canadian or if you're in any British Commonwealth country, if you look at your dollar bill and see photographs of the Queen, like those photographs were made by Yusuf Karsh. He photographed the Queen for money. Many of the royal photographs that you see of like globally were photographed by Yusuf Karsh. So heads of state. And he gave us images and portraits and lighting things that still outperform like what Hollywood stylization looks like today. Oh, Yusuf. And these are the lessons. Let's look at Yusuf Karsh again. By far, he's the GOAT. He's my favorite, and here's where everything starts. This is, of course, Winston Churchill by Yusuf Karsh, the photograph that stopped the war. There's nothing crazier than having Karsh himself explain this photograph. And you have to understand, Winston Churchill was quite tall, like over 6 feet tall. And Yusuf Karsh was easily a foot shorter than him or more. And I remember him describing this portrait, and he said that he was literally hiding behind his 8x10 camera, and he was shooting with a view camera, one that you need like literally a curtain over your head. He would use a loop. He'd focus. The camera would move in and out. He would set his aperture, and he had like a cable release. And I remember this so vividly because he said in this photo, I got to find a good prop. He said in this photo, Churchill had a cigar in his mouth, and he was holding this cigar in his teeth, and Yusuf was behind his dark slide, and he said, "Excuse me, sir, would it be so much of a trouble, sir, if you could take the cigar out of your mouth, sir?" And Winston did nothing. Winston just sat there with this cigar in his mouth. And the words that I'm giving you come directly from Yusuf Karsh himself. So Yusuf said, I did the bravest thing that I've ever done in my life. The bravest thing. I came out from the dark slide and I reached and I pulled the cigar from his mouth. Pulled it from his mouth and literally waited for him to attack me. And this photo here is Winston literally pushing himself out of the chair to literally attack Yusuf Karsh. And Yusuf squeezed this frame, and this mood, this look on his face, this photograph went on the cover of Life magazine, and this photograph literally stopped the war. I want you to look at the light. I literally almost, like, this is so funny. I have a pencil in my hand, like a marker. I almost like opened this and started drawing on my screen. Brain injury. Okay, so this is what I need, this tablet pen, so I can do this and draw here. So if you look at the highlight in the background, you can see that he has a light back here behind him that's kicking Hollywood light behind him. And also the Rembrandt-ish lighting on the front where he has his light here pushing in to give this man some shade. He's also wearing black. Like, this is all about this and the body language and his hand here. This and, oh my goodness, this expression. And this couldn't have been grabbed without the brave act that Yusuf Karsh did. This is Winston Churchill for Life magazine. I want you to look at the lessons that you can learn from light and also bravery. Karsh's light is elegant, it's deliberate, and it's sculptural. Like, I want you to look at how absolutely sculptural his light is. Pablo Picasso, ever heard of him? Picasso? He made choices that felt like classical painting. Like classical painting. Look at this, and again, it's with one of Picasso's works, like a painted like piece of clay, which is not necessarily his style. But look at the Hollywood lighting. Look at the drama in his photographs. Ernest Hemingway by Yusuf Karsh, one of the most referenced portraits ever made. And I want you to look at the light. He made photographs that literally felt like paintings, and he did them with such intent. He used shadow not as an afterthought, but as a tool. I want you to look at the shadow here, on the side here, but this second light, this third light over here to actually sculpt Hemingway's face and give him that Hollywoodness, like that was necessary. I feel like in order to, like, he approaches the face, he approached every face like a sculptor. And it's like, he captured these faces like stone. Like, I love this man's portraits. Look at Albert Einstein. Like, his light, like, he uses light, and Karsh used light like a chisel. Like, literally, like he was chiseling out these faces with light. He favored controlled highlights and purposeful negative space, purposeful use of negative space. He was so deliberate. And again, there's nobody like Karsh. Letters in front of him, the way that his hands are together, a master poser and a master light. Look how literally only half of his face is lit. Masterful. Masterful. We are looking at the work of Yusef Karsh. Oh my goodness me. Karsh really had a way where he wasn't afraid of shadow. He used shadow to carve cheekbones, to hide distractions, to add perseverance, to add presence. Princess Grace. When I coach photographers, I remind them that most early stage shooters, like early stage shooters, fear shadows. Like, that's what I notice when I'm coaching shooters. Like, they're afraid of shadows, and some of them eliminate it completely. Some of them eliminate shadows completely. And I got to tell you, shadows is where character lives. And if you look at the way that Karsh used shadows, oh my goodness, Castro. Like, shadows is where mystery lives. Like, Georgia O'Keeffe, very, very famous painter. Like, shadows is where so much tension lives. Karsh teaches us that it's okay to use a highlight to reveal and also a shadow to, like, pull you into the darkness. So here's what you can steal. Number one, use a strong key light. Use a strong key light, because strong key lights create strong shadows and shape the face with shadows instead of fill. And underlight less. Like, meaning Karsh's light comes from here. If you see where my light here is coming from, it's Karsh light. It's up here. Like, avoid lighting from below. Underlight isn't a thing. Avoid flattening your edges. Avoid flattening the image, which sometimes comes from when you're trying to remove shadows. Look at Audrey Hepburn. I want you to think in sculpture. I want you to think more about sculpture, not exposure. And spending time moving your light around the face. Spend time. You need to learn how light shapes the face. And don't try to fix a bad angle with Phil. Okay? Phil, this guy Phil, you can't be using Phil to fix a bad angle. Let Phil be Phil. But Phil is not going to fix a bad position. You have to fix your position as far as how you're shooting a subject. Fix your subject's angle. With Karsh, every millimeter in a frame, every single millimeter matters. Every one of them. So turn the chin. Like, make a little bit of an adjustment. Every turn of the chin matters. Every eyelid, every head angle matters. So this is what I want you to try this week. I want you to set up one light with a grid and a deep softbox. Like, super, super easy. Like, set up a grid with a deep softbox, very much the same that I have here, and place your subject against a dark background, against a darker background. No fill. And bring the light and the face into the light. And so you're starting to feel that sculpting. I'm trying to do it right now. So you can see as I turn into the light, I have a little bit more direct light here on my face. So you can see here. But as I turn, I start to create this amazing shadow on this side of my face. And then Rembrandt lighting, because you can see this little pocket. And then also the highlight that I have coming in from that back here. So we can actually shape and craft light, but we have to practice. We have to practice. You have to see what it looks like without this in the background. Without this in the background. Well, now I have this light here kicking on me and a little bit of light coming from this window. And look what this looks like flat. But look at the back of my head and how the back of my head is actually in shade and has shadow. And that's playing contrast against the curtains behind. Light is magic. It really is, but you really have to be intentional. And you have to feel it. You have to feel what your eyes see. And this is where the real confidence in your photography, the real confidence starts to show up. Masters use restraint, okay? Your images start to speak when you use restraint and you limit yourself to things that you do over and over and over again in order to craft shadow, in order to craft mood and environment. So that was Youssef Karsh. And Youssef, the fact that I met him in his lifetime, like if you look at my photographs, if you go to stevecarty.com and look at my own photographs, how egoful would I be if I said that this is my photo? I mean, yes, it's my photography, but without influence, like Colin Firth, a week before he won his Oscar. Do you see the Karsh influence in my portraits? Like, please say yes. Please say yes. Jared Nathan from Kill Tony. Portraits of Jared Nathan. Do you see my Karsh influence in this portrait? Like, the way that I shoot is heavily influenced by the photography that I look at. The photographers that have influenced me from days gone by. Can you see the Karsh influence in the way that I make photographs? And how big would my ego have to be for me to not mention that? Not mention how important Youssef Karsh is to me, how important Youssef Karsh is to my body of work and the way that I photograph. Ja Rule. Ja Rule. There is a method to my madness. There's a method to the way that I make photographs. There's a method because I'm heavily influenced by the masters that came before me, which is why my stuff looks like not from this time, because I am heavily influenced by days gone by. Okay? And you could be too. You ready for the next photographer? Nah. Let me give you guys something for being here. What time is it? It's 25 minutes after the hour. Let me give you something for being here. I'm going to gift 5 memberships, and I'm going to do it right now. You guys ready for this? Gifted. Let's get it on. So I believe that it's necessary. I just gifted. Look at Jordan. up there being funny. He's crying. So you'll see a whole bunch of names in chat that just got gifted memberships. I really think that it's important. Number one, to be nice. Number two, to be generous. And generosity is that thing that sadly gets missed. And through this brain surgery, through almost dying and all of this nonsense that I've gone through, it's made me a better human. It's made me a better person. It's made me nicer, kinder, sweeter. If you found yourself now with a crown next to your name and you didn't have one before, use it. I have a whole bunch of members only content that only members can see on my channel. That is some of the best content that I put out for free. Watch it. And if you want to serve me back, what you can do is after your gifted membership expires, because it will expire and you'll go back to being gray in my chat, literally pay it forward by signing up for your own membership at $5 a month. I think what I'm doing here is worth $5. All you need to do is hit the join button. I'm trying to help 100,000 photographers make an ethical living with their cameras in the right way by teaching a very simple 6-step method. It's called the Carty method. You can go to thecartymethod.com/portfolio lab and jump right in right now with me reviewing your photos, with weekly workshops, and with you literally getting yourself out of your own way so you can make an ethical living with your camera. All right. Photographer number 2. Wow. Photographer number 2 is a trip. And photographer number 2 is one of those photographers that if you don't know this shooter, if you're not incredibly influenced by this shooter, you might be missing a huge part of photography. Now, the reason I'm wearing these sunglasses is because since my surgery, I've become even more light sensitive than I was before. I was already light sensitive from being in the dark room from age 14 to age 34 in the dark room 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 7 times a week, sometimes multiple times per day in the dark room, which is being able to see in pure black. Yes, there's like a dark room light, which sometimes is red, sometimes it's orange. It's very, very low. After a while, I was just using no light because, I can see in the dark. But then going from dark room to outside, like sunlight, my eyes like would shoot tears. Like I was actually damaging my retina by going into pure sunlight from pure darkness. So in my early days, I started getting into sunglasses. And I also wear contact lenses. I have very bad eyes, so my eyes are my most important asset. So yeah, hence the sunglasses. So Richard Avedon is the opposite of Karsh in so many ways. Okay? You have to imagine this. If Karsh is sculptural, Avedon is surgical. Okay? Surgical. Avedon was obsessed with honesty. This is the thing that I want to like rattle around your chest. Richard Avedon was obsessed with honesty. He stripped away context, stripped away distraction, stripped away every visual excuse. Okay? Avedon believed what that face said was enough. Like Avedon believed that, and I have to show you what we call some of the best portrait photography you'll ever see. This is Dick Avedon. Avedon believed that the face was enough, that he would pull away every single distraction. So all you could rest on was the face, and you couldn't pull away. This is the lesson. Simplicity is confrontational. This is something that's a statement that should slap you. Simplicity is confrontational. And Avedon's use of stark white backgrounds at the time was revolutionary. He took away the environment. He removed all narrative crutches. He removed them all. You wouldn't literally hide. You couldn't hide in an Avedon frame. His lighting was literally like almost forgettable, almost invisible, although, and that allowed his subjects to tell the story. Something very magical about Avedon's light, because you ask yourself, where is it? It comes from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Well, why is this light so magical? Because he did it outside in a light tent on white seamless, with white seamless, like literally with like translucent white on both sides and on the top. So he was inside this white tent that turned any light into magic light. And no one was doing this at this time. And it focused all your attention just on the subject. Avedon is magic. This is critical. If you're an emerging photographer, the subject tells the story. And this is so critical for an emerging photographer to understand. When you remove the distractions that are in your background, your mistakes become very visible. But so does your craft. Like when you remove everything from the background, any mistake in framing, any mistake in anything becomes super obvious, but it also looks super intentional. So why does this matter? Because every photographer thinks that complex equals skill. Okay? But Avedon shows us the courage inside simplicity. Okay? There's nowhere to hide. You can't hide in an Avedon frame. There's no beautiful location. There's no props. It's just you, your subject, and what you were able to pull from their soul. Give me a hey yeah if this is resonating with you. Taylor, is this resonating with you? Carty crew, is this resonating with you? Because believe you me, like if you check my heart rate right now, you'll see how absolutely excited I am about delivering this information for you. But again, it's so hard for me to understand what people are getting and what I'm just throwing over your head. It's really hard. And I'm so passionate about this. This is the stuff that like people don't talk about on YouTube because again, there's not many 35-year pros on YouTube talking about this kind of stuff. Sadly, I'm one of one, you know? And again, it's like, it's not about being braggadocious. It's really just about my passion for this craft and how like There's not a lot of people who can out-passion me when it comes to photography. There's not many people who can out-passion me when it comes to the love of this craft called photography. I'm a crazy person. So there's one other thing that Avedon just killed, and that is movement. There is nobody that managed to capture movement the way that Richard Avedon did. And I want you to imagine, this is on film. There is no retouching. This is a manual process. And what you see here, he got in camera. No tricks. Okay? This is why Dick is so important to look at. So here's what you got to steal. Okay, this is what you got to steal from Dick Avedon. And the reason that I can call him Dick is because he's my friend. Okay, he's my friend because I've never met him, but I know him intimately. I know him so intimately because I've been studying him, not for my 35-year career, but literally since I touched the camera for the first time, and I saw Vogue for the first time. I've been studying Richard Avedon since I was 16, 17 years old. So when you look at a photographer this much, it's hard for his influence to not stain you. Stain you. So here's what to steal from Dick Avedon. Richard, for you. This is what you need to steal. Clean backgrounds. Okay? Clean backgrounds. An incredibly strong use of frontal light. And I want you to look at this hard light, how she's looking towards the light and what that does with the, like, look at her body. She is literally falling for this frame. She is falling. And her next step, if it is not to put her leg here, she is going down. And look how committed she is. Look where the shadow just so strategically takes out any hint of parts and labor. Look at the sparkles on her legs, her shoes, this thing which appears to be coming from her hair, which is like appearing to be a ponytail, and her dress, her body language, her earrings, and this look on her face. Like, oh my goodness. Ah, yes. Steal clean backgrounds. Steal strong front light. Steal no visual noise. Okay? Steal the expressions on these subjects' faces. Focus on expression, non-distracting backgrounds. Make your subject the star. Like, if this photography isn't making you go, like with every frame I'm sharing with you, I don't think that you like photography enough. I don't think that you're obsessed about this craft enough. I want you to look at the intense connection between photographer and subject. Avedon didn't need 10 lights. Okay? He didn't need 10 lights. He needed one powerful idea. Everything with an Avedon photograph is about presence. He used light like truth serum. Okay? I want you to hear that. Avedon used light like truth serum. These masters are so important. Can't show that one. So this is what you need to try. And again, I'll say that sentence again. Avedon uses light like truth serum. Avedon has passed, so it is now past tense. All of these photographers have passed. And the next photographer that I'm going to show you, he died in 2007. And when I heard that photographer died, I fucking cried in my studio like a baby when this next photographer died. I fucking cried. Excuse my language. That's how important this next photographer I'm going to show you is to me. So this is what you're going to try this week. Okay? You're going to try some things this week that you've never done before. Number one, you're going to shoot on white. You're going to shoot on white. And I'm going to show you some of my photographs, and you can tell me if you think Richard Avedon influenced me. Okay? I'm going to show you some of my photographs, and you tell me if you think Richard Avedon influenced me. Okay, these are some of the things you're going to try this week. You're going to shoot on white. And again, that light from everywhere, light from nowhere. Look at my use of non-distracting backgrounds. I want you to look at Richard Avedon's influence on Steve Carty. And tell me if you think Richard Avedon influenced Steve Carty. Okay, these are the three most important humans to me, let alone photographers. You tell me if Richard Avedon influenced Steve Carty. Influence. I don't look at what's happening now in photography. I'm looking 50, 60 years ago. Okay? That's what I'm looking at. Years ago. Because if you want to be influential today, find out what was influential yesterday. So I hope that you see Richard Avedon's influence on Steve Carty. And when I deliver it to you in this way, when you see my use of movement on non-distracting backgrounds, when you see my use of movement, I hope you see Richard Avedon's influence on Steve Carty. And if you think that you're going to make it through this career without influencers and people who can push your work into new realms, Pete Rock, tell me this isn't influenced by Richard Avedon. So this is what you can try this week, okay? You can shoot to white. You can try that. You can put your subject free of a background. Like, put your subject somewhere where there's no background to eliminate all distractions. And also put your subject 3 feet off the background so there's no shadows, and light from such a way that pushes the shadow downwards. Again, remember, we don't light upwards. And use a large light source. Use a large, easy light source that's going to push, literally, this is gridded. So it's the light's not spilling left and right. So when you look at it like this, you see it's Carty's lighting Carty, but he's not really lighting over there. And he's not really lighting over there. That's dark still. Why? Because I have a grid on this, which means it's not spilling that way or up or down. It's just lighting here. You can see if I rotate this or turn it that way, you can see how suddenly it's only lighting. It's actually only lighting that way. And when I bring this light back, It's actually only lighting my face. Oh, this is gridded. So like the background is not influenced by my front light. Very intentional, very intentional. It's a grid on top of the softbox. So try that this week. And when you're shooting your subject, have conversations with them. You're not chasing like a forced smile. You're looking for reality stylized. Like you're looking for them real. Like how many smiles do you see in my photographs? Like not because photographing the person in their natural state. So I'm never chasing anything forced. I'm always trying to just pull truth. Let me pull some more Avedon because that's the truth. Where's me mouse? There it is. Slide she over here. Come she up here. So we're trying to pull truth. Oh my God. This exercise teaches you that the tool is not the hero. Like your tools are not the hero. You are. You're the hero. You're the one that sees. So the way that you react and the way that you interact with your subject and your light and your modifier, like you create something that's your very own. So it's important to like shoot. You have to shoot in such a way, like you have to shoot like it's your job. You have to shoot in such a way that it is literally your job. And rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. And that's Richard Avedon. How am I feeling about Richard Avedon? How's my heart rate? You see, still in the hundreds. In the hundreds. It's because Richard Avedon, hey, let's go. Nathan, thank you for becoming a member. Nathan, you get all of these accolades when you become a member. First of all, smoke, actual smoke. We'll give you some virtual smoke, but the real smoke is way better. Thank you for becoming a member. As you can see, real smoke. Thank you for becoming a member. It means everything. I'm trying to get 1,000 true fans that actually really believe in the Carty method and what we're doing here on this channel. I just need 1,000. And again, I do these live streams commercial free. There's no ads. There's nothing that's interrupting what I'm talking about right now, because I have members on this channel that support me doing that. Because I have 160 something members, we're trying to get to 1,000. But because of that, I don't put ads while I'm live. I put them in after, but for the people who are dedicated enough to watching me live, commercial free. Whether you're a member or not, my lives are commercial free. But if you're not a member, make sure you thank a member because they're paying so you can have commercial free content here on this channel. Thank you, Nathan, for becoming a member. That means everything to me. All right. So, the last photographer. He's definitely not the last. He is my biggest inspiration by far, by a country mile. And again, before we get there, we got to show some others of Dick Avedon, like just photographs shot on 4x5, like no retouching, like this woman actually standing in this dress at a circus in between 3 and 4 elephants. Like the movement, the grace, the impossibility of this photograph. This is Richard Avedon. And again, it's like, you don't even know how important this photographer is until you look at work that you're like, wow, like just wow. Here's another. When it comes to movement, like, come on. When it comes to like this is like Henri what's his name? Cartier-Bresson. Henri Cartier-Bresson, with this very famous photo with him like someone stepping off and just about to hit the puddle. Like, this is Avedon doing an homage to Cartier-Bresson. Like, this picture is so meta. Like, shot in Paris, which is the same place where Cartier-Bresson made his photo. Like, this is shot in 1967, which is an homage to a photo that was shot like in 1937. Like, this is how obsessed about photography that I am. Like, I'm a crazy person. I keep saying like how much I know about this craft and like the photographers that made this craft great. Dick Avedon. All right. So I hope that you're inspired, because we are about to go into the photographer that single-handedly brought sexuality into photography, who single-handedly changed how we saw pictures. And the photographer that I'm speaking of is Helmut Newton. Helmut Newton, my word. He is the bridge between studio power and real world chaos. Okay? Helmut Newton shot so incredibly strong in studio, in indoors, under artificial light. And he shot so strong on location. Helmut Newton said, if you can't find a location within 1 block of where you're standing in any direction, you have a lot of work to do. So, he embraced hard light with his in studio and his on location. And it made his work feel a certain level of sexy. Like, there's no other describing. This is Helmut Newton in 1955. And the way that he photographed women, this is Helmut Newton in 1962, shooting for French Vogue. Helmut Newton, and I'm going to quote, Helmut Newton said, "I didn't get good." I want you to hear this. It's so necessary to hear this. Helmut Newton said, "I didn't get good at photography until I was 50. He was shooting for Vogue at 22. Shooting for Vogue at 22, he said, "I didn't get good until I was like 50. So check your ego. Like, literally, like, I am so humbled by Helmut Newton, and so humbled by how humble he was and how talented he was. He changed photography. He literally revolutionized photography, and said still, I didn't even get good at this until I was 50. He died at 72 in a car accident on a photo shoot for Vogue in 2007. And again, as I said earlier, I cried like a baby when Helmut Newton died. I cried because he died in a car accident and he had 10 more years of photography to do. And the work that he was doing at 70 was mind blowing. Okay. He had 10 more years to go and he died in a car accident. He shouldn't have been driving. So Helmut, he saw shadow with with confidence. He used shadow with discipline and confidence. The way that he saw light, whether it was natural or artificial, was like he saw light in a different way. And his ideas were revolutionary. He made women, like he showed women as powerful objects. Okay? And he used shadow spectacularly and with a confidence that, oh my goodness, he proved hard light was usable, and he used hard light with no fear. Like the years that he's making these photographs, like 1967, on film, this girl is actually running and an airplane is actually chasing her, and Helmut Newton is running backwards taking pictures with his Hasselblad. Like, he weaponized photography. He weaponized hard light. He weaponized sexuality, but sexuality with a class. Like, this is the thing, like, that has just fallen by the wayside. Like, he weaponized hard light, but he weaponized like subtle sexuality, like sexuality that was powerful, but also restrained. And it wasn't like, just like putting your parts and labor out there. It was like a hint of like the side of a boob, or like it was just with grace. And this is like something that sadly is so missed right now. This photograph of this female model dressed as a man, lit naturally by these street lights that are aiming downwards, and him placing her so perfectly under a street light that lights her so harshly, but also so perfectly, and pushes the shadow on top of itself. The pants, the styling, this photograph, the cigarette. Women smoking at this time was done in private. It was not done in public, and it was definitely not done in photographs. And this is 1975. For Paris Vogue. Again, Paris Vogue. I was 5 years old when this photograph was taken. Some of the most powerful. This is 1975. Like, the level of work that this photographer was making for magazines at a time that this was too risque for magazines. How this is a Playboy girl. She's wearing Playboy. And this is shot for Vogue. Helmut Newton. And also the hard light. Look at the hard light, the hard shadows. The hard shadows in here, and how her legs just step outside this shadow to reveal them. Like, he weaponized this, and he weaponized photography. So hard light is narrative. Hard light's narrative. Helmut used hard light to enhance his stories. And he visualized and softened his images with body language. He like hard light, but soft body language. And then he used bold direction lighting to literally emphasize sexuality and grit. His photographs are unapologetic. Like, Helmut Newton doesn't apologize for the type of photographs that he makes. His photographs, this hard light, unapologetic. And he demands that you take a side. He demands that you either love this work or absolutely hate it. He demands that you do. Most photographers avoid hard shadows. They avoid even being outdoors. And they definitely avoid harsh shadows outdoors. Helmut embraced them. So when you understand hard light, everything becomes a stage. When you understand how to use hard light, everything becomes a stage. Karl Lagerfeld, who didn't like to be photographed by a lot of people, but he loved being photographed by Helmut Newton. And hard light creates drama like indiscriminately. Okay? It just creates drama for anything. So most people were shooting in Paris at that time, like in clean white. And the influence of Dick Avedon went so far that people just did Avedon. So this is why Helmut Newton was so important, because he didn't do Dick Avedon. He did Helmut. So here's what you can steal. Okay? Harder light. Harder light equals more story. Okay? You're telling more of a story when you embrace harder light. Okay? Also, use sunlight. Sunlight is an amazing key. And I use sunlight so often at the right time. Indoors versus outdoors. Indoors or outdoors. You have to chase angles, not necessarily softness. Like, we're not really always looking for the softest light. We're looking for things that penetrate. So shadows build context. And confidence is partly your kit, partly, but confidence, it comes from here. It doesn't come from your camera bag. So you can say confidence is actually part of your kit. The confidence that you see when I work, like, I'm a different person than the person that you see here talking to you right now. I literally go into mode, like Carty mode. And the way that I see, when I'm being a seer, emerging photographers often think that soft light, well, that's professional. But in reality, soft light is too safe at times. Soft light is too safe sometimes. Newton reminds us that there's power in an edge. Like, you have to find an edge. To create an edge, you have to make your shit edgy. See, people got to feel something when they look at your photographs. Too many people shoot safe, boring shit. There's power in an edge. And you need to find that edge in every photograph. So here's some things that you can try this week. And again, each one of these things is different than the last photographer that I told you to try. Each one. 3 photographers. If you let these 3 photographers influence you, they'll change your life forever. Okay? And I let all of these photographers, these 3, influence me to no end because I continually look at their books. I have books from all of these photographers. So here's what you can try this week. Number 1, shoot in midday sun. Why would you do that? It's like harsh upper, yuck. Yeah, do that. That's what Helmut Newton would do. That's what you're going to try. You're going to try to shoot in midday sun and figure out a way to make midday sun work. Yes, I said it. I want you to place your subject so that the sun literally becomes your main light, becomes your main, and then make your shadows part of the design of your photograph. By adding a small little strobe to overpower like the ambient, you're going to get a little bit more control, a little bit of a kick with strobe in because you got this hard light coming above, but keep it natural and literally like keep it themed on the hard light. Like don't let that like fill do the talking. Even outdoors, sometimes I use bare strobe. Like people see me outside lighting and there's no softbox, there's no reflector. It's just like raw light. And obviously you position it off angle the same way that I'm positioning, sorry, camera, this. Like I'll use this, I'll take the softbox off and I'll use it just with the 7-inch reflector. You have to understand how light cuts across and how it creates cinematic tension instantly. So let's bring it all together, okay? Let's bring it all together and wrap up this episode. Karsh taught me intentionality, okay? I learned like doing things intentional from Karsh. And again, because I talk about how each one of these shooters influenced me, each one of them, when you look at my portfolio, you can see when I'm doing helmet. You can see when I'm doing helmet. You can actually see when I'm doing Avedon. You can see when I'm doing helmet. Remember I said like that direct, harsh, bad light? Like I do all of these photographers and I'm revealing, like I am showing you so behind the fifth wall here. I'm doing Helmut Newton here. I'm doing Helmut Newton here. Like, look at the light. Like, I'm doing Helmut Newton here. Look at the hard light. Like, the hard, non-diffused light on this model. I'm doing Helmut Newton. I'm doing Helmut Newton here. Look at the hard, non-diffused light on this model's face. Artificial. You can see I'm doing Helmut Newton here with the hard, outdoor, artificial light on my subject. I do this literally, and I can just show you over and over and over. This is me doing Helmut. Look at me doing Helmut here with this hard light that happens to be actual sun plus a little bit of strobe kicking in here that you can see in her eyes. But look at this hard light. Just doing Helmut Newton. Look at Grandmaster Flash with actual sun hard from the side. I'm doing Helmut Newton. Like, it just goes on and on and on and on and on of me showing you my version of my greatest my greatest influencers. Look at me doing Helmut Newton. Look at this backlight and the little bit of kick in the foreground. Look at me doing Helmut Newton here. Like, I'm even doing Helmut Newton here indoors with Daft Punk. So all of the photographers that you hear me talk about today, I give you my own version of these photographers. These three: Helmut, Richard Avedon, and of course, Youssef Karsh. I don't claim to be the originator of any of these like, and again, it's like Karsh taught me intentionality. Avedon taught me simplicity. Okay? And Newton taught me bravado. Newton gave me balls. Okay? With my photos, Newton gave me balls. Gave me the confidence to be like, I don't give a F what you think about this photo. Newton gave me balls. Lighting becomes your visual. Lighting becomes your voice. Only when you understand the relationship between intention and expression. And I'm all about intention, and I'm all about visual expression. When you master directionally and directionality, like which direction your light should be coming from, when you master directionality, when you master shadow, when you master color and contrast, you get to choose what thing that you push forward. Like, you get to choose which one of these things you present. When I coach emerging photographers, I guide them from understanding why they're making a photograph. And I also guide them into like what they're trying to reveal. What truth are you trying to reveal? What emotion are you trying to construct? Lighting is not aesthetic. Okay, lighting is just one part of lighting. In fact, lighting is just a means to an end. It literally just gives you exposure. Okay? Lighting is not an aesthetic. It's a narrative. Lighting is your narrative. Like, this is how I see. If you know my photography, you know that this shot that you're looking at right now is part of my aesthetic. And in fact, if you look at this picture, you're like, holy shit, Carty is actually doing this light right now oh my goodness, where's my, I guess that's expired. Like, if you look at this shot, I'm actually doing that shot. All I need to do is throw a little more smoke in the room, and you're like, yeah, this light is that light. The only thing is my main is coming from here instead of coming from this side. It's the only thing. It's the only difference, is the light's coming from the other side. But everything else, like, I'm just recreating the light that you see here, right here in this shot. Lighting is not aesthetic. It's a narrative. And apply Karsh when you need elegance and a sculpted presence. Okay? Apply Karsh when you need honesty. When you need honesty and you need clarity. Okay? Apply Avedon when you need honesty and clarity. And apply Newton when you need tension and heat. Okay? Again, apply Karsh when you need elegance and a sculpted presence. Apply Avedon when you need honesty and clarity. And apply Newton when you need tension and heat. 3 masters, 3 philosophies. Let them live in you. Okay? So, this is what I want you to practice this week. I want you to choose one portrait. Pick one subject. Like, you're going to make a portrait, so choose a subject. Pick that subject. And then I want you to light them in 3 ways. I want you to light them as if you were Karsh. Okay? Sculpted Hollywood. I want you to light them as if you were Dick Avedon. Simple, non-distracting. And then I want you to light them as if you were Helmut Newton, which is hard and bold and without apologies. I want you to limit your tools. This is something that we don't do enough. Limit your tools. Use 1 or 2 lights only, okay? I don't want any gear. If I only had this light. Oh, I wish I had this. If I only had this. Like, limit your gear excuses, okay? We're going to recreate this exactly. I want you to limit your gear excuses. Now we have this shot a little bit more. Because honestly, your client doesn't care about your gear or your excuses. They just care about the final work. So I want you to compare your results and be like, oh my God, I love the Avedon idea. I love the Karsh idea. I love the Newton idea. And study the changes in between each photograph. And don't study them technically only, okay? Oh, this one is exposed a third of a stop under, or this one's an eighth of a... Don't just look at them technically, okay? Don't judge them technically only. Judge them emotionally. Judge them emotionally. And then refine. Refine. Try it again. Do it again. Ask yourself which interpretation feels closest to your voice. Which one? And then take that with you. Take that with you as a North Star, that voice, and use it again. Your voice is not something that you find once. Okay? You don't, oh my geez, I found my voice. Oh my God, I've been looking for you. Thank you, voice. I've been looking for you. You don't find your voice once. Your voice is something that you shape over a fucking lifetime. Okay? Over and over and over and over again. You are defining your voice. The better that you master your tools, the more that you can bend them and make them work for you and literally tell the truth that you're trying to tell. So, these 3 masters shaped not only my photography, as you can see, but they shaped my philosophy to photography. Okay. And I went to some very good photography schools, starting with, it's called now Toronto Metropolitan University. When I went there, it was called Ryerson. The people who taught me taught photographers that shoot for Vogue, Walter Chin, like some legit photographers. And what I know is that a majority of my photography training was looking at masters who made photographs 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. And looking at the masters started in high school, where at the end with photography class, our end of year exam was literally 150 slides of photographs. And we had to know the photographer, the name that the photographer gave the image, and the year it was shot. So it would be Josef Karsh. It would be Josef Karsh. It would be the photograph that stopped the war. And then it would be like 1957. So that photograph of Winston Churchill, it would be Winston Churchill, Life magazine, 1965, photographer, Josef Karsh. Like, that's what we'd have to remember for 150 photographs. That was our exam. So Pablo Picasso, Josef Karsh, 1974. Like, that's what we'd have to remember. Like, she'd flash a picture and we'd have to just like call it. So my training is insane. And sadly, photographers today are fucking lazy. And I hate to be so dry, but just lazy. And they don't care enough about the craft, which is why 86% of photographers fail in their first 2 years. They just think picking up a camera and bang, bang, bang. Oh, I'm awesome. Pat themselves on the back. And then they wonder why, like, there's no method. There's no history to the craft. There's no palmettos. And if you're not looking backwards, it's really hard for there to be a future forward. So, lighting is a language, okay? And it's something that it needs to be influenced. That language needs to be influenced. It's like you're trying to speak Spanish, but you're not studying Spanish. Like, lighting, I'll say, is a language, and it's a language that evolves, and it evolved from the masters. So if you're not looking at the masters, if you're not diving into the 3 photographers that I told you today, oh my goodness. So know this, you need to study deeply, and you need to practice relentlessly. And then you need to transform what you've learned into something that's personal, something that feels like you, something that doesn't feel like Steve Carty or Richard Avedon or Helmut Newton or Karsh. It feels like you. These are the things that matter to your photography career more than you can imagine. Knowing like where you came from and where photography came from. That's the smartest, fastest way to know where your photography is going. So, most make pictures like themselves. But if you look at the masters, days gone by, and even try to make inspirational photos that are inspired by the masters, you will feel it and you will develop and you will level up immediately. Know this, I'm incredibly passionate about photography, obviously, as you can see. And know that, like, this whole thing that we're trying to do here, like what I'm trying to do, if you need support, if you need deeper support, this is what I talk about in the Carty method. This is the kind of things that I talk about on Tuesdays during our workshops, the Carty method portfolio lab workshops on Tuesday. This is what I talk about. This is what I teach inside my professional photographer's accelerator. You don't need the perfect camera. You just need presence and you need intent. Like, I have shooters that are shooting with cameras that are 10 years old that are making insane work so good that you're not thinking about what camera they're shooting with. You're just seeing the work. Okay? You're seeing the purpose. Understand that it takes a certain resilience to be a photographer. There's a certain repetition that has to happen, that a lot of photographers want to do a new thing every day, which therefore every time you do a new thing, it's like, imagine it's like, I'm going to drive on the left side of the road today. It's like, but everyone drives on the right. So, yeah, but I'm going to drive on the left. Okay. And then tomorrow I'm going to drive on the sidewalk. And then tomorrow I'm going to drive on the roof. And it's like, why don't you just practice driving on the right side of the road and get insanely good at that? Well, because I'm bored. I do it once and I'm bored. I want to drive somewhere else. Okay. That's the same thing with niche swapping and not having a niche and shooting whatever you like. But it's like, cool. Do all of that. But who's better? The photographer who shoots everything or the photographer who shoots one thing every day? Every day, one thing. They do portraits. Or the photographer who shoots portraits, weddings, this, that, product, blah, blah, blah. Like, guess what? They're shit at all of those things because they haven't done enough reps in any one of those things to get so good that you're attracting attention. You think you're good. That's the thing. Photographers have the biggest egos. I'm so good. How much money are you making? None. Then how good are you actually? You know what I mean? Even if you're making $500 a month, it's like you can be so much better. You can be so much better. And again, it all has to do with like humbling yourself and saying, I don't know everything about photography. I don't know everything about the business of photography. I need to speak to somebody who knows more than me about both of those things. Like, if you're trying to be a dentist, you go to dental school. Yes or yes. You don't just like, I'm going to be a dentist on my own and try to find mouths to work on. Who's going to let... You're an unqualified, uneducated, never gone to school dentist. I'm going to let you in my mouth. Are you drunk? But people can go pick up a camera and do that. Do photography related things with no training. Think of that. Photography is not easy, and making money at it is harder still. This is why I've been making money at photography for over 35 years. It has been my only income for over 35 years. And I do so far past 6 figures every year. And I want to help you do the same. So all you need to do, go to thecartymethod.com, sign up for Portfolio Lab. That is the fastest route in. Second is, and I played no spots today. Again, another thing for you to recognize. I played no spots because I wanted you so dialed into this content. But my professional accelerator opens 3 times per year. It is the absolute fastest track to go from zero to hero. I teach my 6-phase system. People in my accelerator, before they're finishing, go from making $0 per month to making $8,000-$9,000 a month on retainer because they learn phase 3 and then they learn phase 4 and then they learn phase 5 and it unlocks money. The reason that the Carty method is so successful, the reason that I have so many people in my program, and the reason that when you watch my photo reviews, when you see people who are in my accelerator, the reason that the photography is so much better than yours is because they're in my program and they're being fed the right information week after week after week after week. I want you in there. Guys, I hope this brought you value. I hope you're happy with the gifted subs. And know this, I'm trying to find 1,000 true fans. If you are one of those people who is a true fan of what I'm doing here, please consider paying me $5, at which I get $3.50. I don't even get the whole $5. YouTube takes 30% of it. So again, we are trying to make this YouTube channel blow up. We are almost at 50,000 subscribers. But first, we got to get to 45,000. You can help me get there by hitting the subscribe button. If this has brought you value, share it. Make a clip. Become a member. Watch Portfolio Lab. Join the Carty Method. Sign up for something that I'm offering you. Know this. You are in charge of your destiny. All I can do is give you information. If you want to actually talk to me and have me help you directly, you got to do one of the actions that I just suggested. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.
This commercial-free live stream was brought to you by the members of this channel. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to fill up these live streams with ads that would just interrupt the flow. The members of this channel make commercial-free content during these live streams possible. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month today to gain access to secret live streams, live chats, and to show your support with that crown badge next to your name. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert, even if the content you're sharing isn't yours. Be a curator and share this content with your network. If you're an emerging or struggling photographer that's trying to break free from your current 9-to-5 grind and transition to the life of a working pro photographer, that's our obsession here at the Carty Method. Register, get the support you need. If you're alone and struggling at this craft, make sure you join the Carty Method community. You'll always find help in the show notes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find your creative and business genius with the Carty Method.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for making it to the end. I appreciate you so, so, so much.